should have everything
No need to rush on
set.
that.
So
No,
Yeah.
because we are live now. So
oh, boy.
welcome everyone to the Paulogia After Party. And of course, so far we have in here, we got Paulogia, of course. We've also got the wonderful, lovely Lavender Lady with us. We have someone I've also had a chat with, the Prince of Atheism is with us. And of course, my moderator extraordinaire, Inquisitive Condry, is also with us. There are lots more people that are going to be jumping in and out. We got BBA who wants to come in. We got a couple other people as well. They're just, taking their time, like Purple Rhymes with Orange, who seems to be taking his time.
I don't know, sweetness.
But that's okay. People come in and out. We got lots of time. I can go till probably 7 myself, my time, of course. But
oh boy,
yeah. But then hockey starts, so and that's the thing in Canada.
Hockey takes precedence.
So I thought our previous stream was to be debate why the Canucks are the worst team in the Pacific,
but they're not,
and yet they're in first for half an hour, and we'll see if when the next game happens.
It hurts, Paul. You hurt me so.
Well, the Pacific Division, I don't know if you looked at the standings, man, but first to last is 1 win difference. It's crazy.
It is. Yeah. Everyone's 57, 57, 57. The Canucks have 58. So it's that's the way it sits right now. Yeah. Don't make me put my jersey on.
No one else cares, but I still think they're the worst team in the division. But maybe yeah.
So how many games are left to play?
Oh, lots.
40,
38 or something.
Where the All-Star break, so it's
okay. So the difference doesn't mean that much yet.
No.
Okay, gotcha.
But I'm excited because my team hasn't been relevant for about 12 years.
That's right.
No.
What's that? The Maple Leafs?
No, the Oilers.
Oilers.
I'm a big Oilers fan.
Okay.
Yeah, he's an Oilers fan, and I'll admit that if I had to choose another team in the of the Canadian teams, it would definitely be the Oilers.
They're fun to watch.
Montreal too, because I grew up on Montreal with my dad because he was a big Montreal fan. But
makes sense.
But I'm a Canuck. I'm a Canuck boy.
I saw one hockey game live. It was the Maple Leafs here in Pittsburgh against the Penguins. And,
did I show you this yet, Jeremy?
Oops, upside down. Oh, no, it's not.
Yeah, I think I remember you showing that.
Yeah, we got them for free in cases of beer. So
okay, that makes sense.
That's what Canada's all about.
Between Mario Lemieux and Sidney Crosby, you've had some of the best players in the world ever in your city, and you aren't going.
Yep, that's pretty much Pittsburgh's story, right up one side and down the other.
Do you go to the Steelers games? Do you go to?
I'm not a football fan. Baseball is my game.
Oh, okay. Well, fair.
I was never much of a sports fan, but I lived in Minnesota back when they still had the North Stars.
Ooh,
yeah, hockey was the biggest thing, and to this day, the high school hockey tournament is the biggest event in the Twin Cities.
Nice.
Yeah, it's funny. I went to a couple of Wild games in Minnesota, and it's they care so much more about their college and high school hockey than they do about the pro levels.
Yeah,
it's great. Actually, it's very cool. But yeah.
But I think they should rename Minnesota. We've already got a New Mexico. Make Minnesota New Canada.
New Canada.
You keep wishing there, honey.
Well, I've been trying to get Canada to annex the upper Midwest.
If they would take Pennsylvania too, please.
I see you there, Brandon. Just hang tight.
We got healthcare for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, I expect there's probably other people waiting, so I won't stay in here too long. But, I wanted to personally thank Paulogia. Among other things, the avatar I have in the chat, he drew for me. But he was one of the first 10 YouTube channels I ever subscribed to.
Oh, wow. I appreciate that. That's a huge compliment.
Yeah, that's I accidentally found the atheist community through Bionic Dance, and you and Vice Rhino, I know, were in the first ones that got recommended to me.
Appreciate that very much. And just tell me, just give me a minute, give me your story in however many seconds you have.
No pressure.
Well, basically, I found the atheist community accidentally because I was looking for 80s animation, and that brought up Bionic Dance.
Ooh.
And, then you get the recommendations because you start watching one thing, and it just kind of snowballed from there. So that happened while I was recovering from a hernia surgery, and I had 6 weeks that I could barely get out of my chair, so I had nothing to do but sit here and binge YouTube.
Time well spent.
You know what, Paul? I'll admit it too. When I first started looking up atheist content on YouTube, yours was the second or third channel I came across, other than Atheist Experience and Seth Andrews. I think you were right after the two.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and I really did not know
couple,
who
and
Ken Ham was before I started watching Paul.
Oh, well, then I'm sorry for having done that to you.
No, last summer I took the road trip down, and I was part of the ARC protest last year.
Yes, you were. You were in my video for that, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was there all
That's
right.
pretty cool.
I'll step out because I'm
video.
sure there's other people who want to get in here too. I'll just drop down to the side chat.
Okay. Well, thanks, Purple.
Thanks. I appreciate that a lot.
As long as we're doing
well, appreciate what you do on here. Both, you and Neil both.
Oh,
thanks so much.
Oh, they're both a couple of sweeties. Come on.
Oh, you're too.
Why is accidental atheist not a handle already?
That's interesting.
Question.
That's a good point.
Because we're so rational, that could never happen to us.
Well, no, that Purple, he accidentally came across the atheist community. Well,
no, I didn't realize there was an online community for it. I was already atheist by that time.
I'm picking up what you're laying down, man. I get it. It's just that it has a certain ring to it. I love it. Accidental atheist.
Yeah, it's good.
It's like the Accidental Tourist, but we'll remake it.
Yeah. There may be one. I just haven't looked it up. So
it also tricks the apologist into thinking you got a soft spot.
All right.
As long as we're doing true confessions, Paul, I discovered you via Anti-Ordinary.
Interesting.
When you had her on your show, and it's become a love affair since. No, Shannon, I'm not stealing him away from you. No, it's not on the right side of the fence. Okay.
Hey,
sorry, Paul.
Yeah, no. I was gonna say you'd be trying to steal Shannon. I'm guessing.
There you go.
Yeah, we'd have to have words. But
put 'em up.
Well, that's interesting. You found me through Demi. That's yeah. The weird thing, saying before, I never intended to have guests on my show. Like that was never the plan. If I had, I don't know if I'd have started this whole cartoon thing, right? Like it's a huge deal now to suddenly I have a guest on. I have to create them and animate them, and I can't draw. You guys, I just scribble things, and I don't know.
Yeah, but they work. Your little avatar people work so well.
Thank you.
I love the one you do for Aaron. It's just fucking like him too.
That's interesting that thank you for re-mentioning the cartoons. And when you were talking about people not exactly paying attention to those who have the cartoon avatars, because back when I worked for Michael W. Jones, when I was doing the NCG Studios thing, he was very adamant about that. He would not take seriously anyone who did not display their face. And I tried to tell him more than once that this was not somebody being nefarious or anything. It was that we have, for the most part, a lot to lose from family, employment, wherever. If we were to out ourselves, he would not buy it. He refused to buy it. So you're not the only one that's run into this.
And let me add on to that, Diana. I didn't show my face for the longest time after I started because of my age, because I wasn't of legal age yet.
Right.
But once I turned 18, then I show my face now.
Yeah, and you can now get porn website membership too.
Yes, they're very, very strict with who gets those.
Yeah, I don't have any. Oh, that killed the conversation. Yeah. Anyways,
sure did.
I'm pretty good at that, it seems. But so guys, Prince of Atheism, are you still with us? Apparently
What?
not. Okay, well then what I'm gonna do. Oh, you're still here?
You're still there.
I'm sorry.
Oh, Saluis, yes. Okay.
Okay. Now you had some stuff you wanted to say, so I'm gonna like get it off your chest, kind of thing, and then because I've got people waiting, so anyone that wants to just state their case or say hello or do whatever, then I can swap people in and out.
Well, the purple rise with orange pretty much said what I was going to say. Aside from,
I didn't draw your cartoon.
What?
I didn't draw your avatar.
Oh no, not that. I just wanted to. I wanted to talk to you specifically because you were one of the few people that made me feel like I wasn't alone. Because Ken Ham started me on my journey out as well. I actually taught his material, a lot of his material in the Salvation Army, and I felt like I was the only one that ever asked any questions about it. And when I found your channel, yours is one of the first ones I found right after Matt Dillahunty and Arn and Seth and them. But right after I found them, I found you and Shannon, and it was just so nice to see someone that was started on the same track by the same people.
This is great. and here's the reply. Same videos, just less clothing.
Oh, bless you, boy.
Sorry about that, Pete.
No, that's right.
No problem.
No, I definitely appreciate that a lot. Yeah, and of course, I assume you live in an area where young Earth creationism is probably very prevalent, right?
No, I was just sort of stuck in an environment where that was all I was exposed to.
Okay. Because it can also be weird to like, probably the community you were in then would have fully accepted this, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I was very carefully aimed at communities that were purely young Earth creationist, and I didn't realize until after I got out that I was very, very heavily sheltered.
Right, because you probably feel like I do. Like I feel like I'm the dumbest guy in any chat I go into because I keep repeating all the time. Yeah, 4 years ago I believed what Ken Ham believed. It's like I don't know anything about genetics. I don't know anything. Like I have to learn. Mm-hmm. My videos, like I do a video on geology. I have to learn it because I used to think that the flood made it. So yeah, I get that sense of like just being behind. Like
same here. I'm barely a year out myself.
The nice thing is for most people, you don't have to make videos on these topics. You don't have to learn all this stuff if you don't wanna. But yeah, I definitely commiserate with the idea of feeling like you've lost time, feeling like you are, you are gullible, that that you're behind, that you so much you need to catch up on. I guess I'm projecting that maybe you're feeling some of those things.
I was, yeah. You were also one of the first people that actually responded to me when I messaged you on Twitter with my personal fears of possibly coming out. And that helped me a lot because it gave me comfort and feeling that I wasn't alone. That's sort of what you did for me, just that feeling of commisery.
Well, I appreciate that very much. I definitely view myself as I'm a cautionary tale. That's...
Yeah. I think a lot of us are.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Prince. Appreciate that.
All right. That's all I really wanted to say. Thank you for letting me share it.
You're very welcome.
Yay. Neil, you've got folks in the green room?
I do. Well, one currently, but there's going to be more because Dallas Wade wants it, but I have Brandon in the green room right now, and here he is.
Okay, and then I think you asked Nakasuchi if he wanted in as well, because I can drop and make room.
Okay. No, actually, he just answered me. Raging Atheist just answered me. It's not people already know, Naka, that they'll be shuffling in and out. So if you want to pop in for a few minutes, you'll have an opportunity momentarily. All right. And I'll send you guys links for Dallas and Naka.
Speaking of popping in and out, I guess I'll step up to bat next in line for the gratuitous ass kissing.
You should be doing your damn moderating job anyways, pal.
Yeah, if you guys all want to suck up to Diana, I get it. It makes sense.
Hey, wait a minute here.
I'm real big on giving people credit, like when they've affected your life and when they've done something for you. I mean, because appreciation is shown and not so much said, but there's only so much you can do online. So, fucking here it goes. I was watching you way before Inquisitive Quandary was even a thing. And, I was just, in the side chats and the Atheist Experience watching Seth Andrews. And, there was Paulogia, and you had your own fucking style. Just this persistent, consistent knowledge dropping where everything is just so razor sharp, and it's just, you're just giving them the facts. You throw a little comedy in there, and it's just it's always a great experience, when you have somebody that can just take the facts and just fucking throw them right in their face, like, here it is, fucking deal with it.
But they do that hand waving thing. Oh, that's not a fact.
And that's what you do, and I've always loved that shit. And I live in Cincinnati. I'm like fucking 20 miles from the Creation Museum.
Wow.
And I've been there, and it's so awful. And everything you do to tear that man down is just a big fat ass thumbs up for me, because
I appreciate that.
That place is so fucking awful, and that man is hideous. So, thank you for everything.
How you really feel.
You've been a real inspiration. It's not just the knowledge that you drop, is that you have respect for what deserves respect. And you always come at people with just this lovely sincerity, but not without tiptoeing through the fucking tulips. Getting to the point and dropping shit on people. Fucking love it. Keep doing what you're doing, man. You're inspiration to so many people.
Appreciate that. But, yeah, and I just noticed your initials are IQ, so that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah. The giant eye that follows you everywhere.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, and then obviously I've mentioned this before, but I try and make, I still remember what it was like to believe what they believed. So it's hard to be vitriolic and hard to other people when I'm just a few months from where they were. So I think compassion, there's a place for mockery. I think that there's a huge place. Like, every style is needed. Like, if you are communicating out there and you have a more aggressive style than I have, great. But some of us need to be compassionate as well. Yeah, because both sides of the coin need to be there, I think. So
I agree.
Yep.
Well, right on. Well, Paul, keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks, man.
I'll slide on out and make room for somebody else.
All right, we got Dallas Wade waiting in the wings. So
cool.
All right, IQ. Thanks,
you
bro.
guys. Yep.
I just want to say two things just really quickly. One, I saw a comment from Joseph Blue saying about me vaping. I use the Smock Mag Grip that I use, but I just wanted to say
to make it go faster.
No, I've got a friend who's wanting me to take him to work about a half hour away. So I just want to say a big thank you to you, Paulogia. I can't really say that you are a big instrument in my coming out of religion, but you were definitely in there.
Cool.
Along the way.
Somewhere in there.
Well, and I don't, as long as we find our way out of the maze, I don't care how we find our way out.
Yeah.
Awesome. But I just wanted to thank y'all for letting me get in here. So I'm going to take a friend of mine to work because he's been bugging me because his car is broke down.
Drive safe.
All right. See ya.
Yeah.
Take care, honey.
All right. Cheers, brother.
I just want to say thank you to Paul. I've been watching your stuff longer than most other, atheist skeptic YouTubers. Like I live in North Alabama, and Answers in Genesis is huge here. My whole family's been obsessed with it, and it was a couple years ago I finally got away from all that and got my mom away from it too, and she watches your stuff way more than I do. I'll go over to her house, and she's most likely watching you or R and Raw, and she'll be like, "Hey, did you see Paul's new video?" And I'm like, "No, haven't yet." She's like, "Oh, you got to watch it." But
we got the mom market. Look at that.
Mom market. There you go.
But she's obsessed.
Kid tested, mom approved.
Yeah, but I'm gonna have to tell her that I've told you hi now. So
yeah, no, appreciate that, Dallas. That's awesome.
Yeah, her name's Ramona. So if you could just say like "Hi, Ramona" or something.
Hi, Ramona.
He's gonna love that.
That's wonderful.
We're former Christians, and we look at the claims of Christians.
That's right. Yeah,
that's awesome.
My friend Randolph Richardson. Here, I'll put it up here so you can see it there, Paul. With your excellent videos, and I agree.
Thank you so much. They take a lot of work, so I'm glad somebody's paid.
It's like the nail in the coffin for AIG.
Yeah, they don't like me very much.
I don't know why.
I wonder why.
Personable and everything.
New to the stream now is my friend Chris Mallard, who's also known as the Daily Atheist, and he does a show every morning that I usually pop in. I missed it this morning because we had a bunch of shit going nuts today, Chris. But I usually pop in the chat and say he sometimes has people on too. So
is that a podcast? Sorry, I'm not familiar with your work, Chris. Is that a podcast or a YouTube channel or?
It's a YouTube channel. I do a live morning show every morning. How's my mic, guys? If it gets real ugly, let me know.
Yeah, no, you're gold.
Great.
You're gold.
Okay, yeah, I do a morning show every morning from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. on Mountain Time, and I have a guest content creator come in and a guest host. So they'll come in, another content creator, an atheist content creator will come to my channel and guest host for a week at a time. And that gets them to get their word out. Then we'll also have special guests. So, for example, maybe Dallas Wade would like to guest host next week, and you would like to come on Tuesday and talk. Me and Dallas Wade would interview you. Of course, that's open, Dallas, if you want to look into that. I just kind of off the top of my head.
No, just hit me up. We talk about that.
6 a.m. is awful early, brother.
I get up a lot earlier than that.
Good man. Yeah, I'm like a 3:30, 4 o'clock. Anyway,
about 4:30.
I usually go to bed at 4 a.m., so that doesn't seem like a great idea.
Yeah, so I do that, and then I got various series on the YouTube. The Evil God Monster of Abraham is the current series I'm working on. It's a Bible study kind of thing.
Sweet.
Yeah, so that's what I do. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yep. Sorry, I missed your coming out story. I was doing things, so I just got here, and I will go back and watch it and catch
If there's
up.
one thing we know that
better.
things on the internet they go away immediately. Right?
Even when you delete it, it's still there. By the way,
Yeah.
so always remember what you say and post on the interwebs, guys, because it doesn't go anywhere.
That's right. This is my first time to stream with Lavender Lady too. Hey, I've seen you a few times. It's nice to see you. Nice to stream with you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I didn't know I got out there and stuff and things.
Yeah, I'm a creepy internet denizen. That's what I do.
These guys always lurking.
I was just looking at your channel. So you say it's at 7 a.m. Mountain?
6 a.m. Mountain.
6
6
a.m.
a.m. Mountain.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Often enough, I am up at 4 a.m. Eastern. So
I'm up 4 a.m. every day.
Yeah, that's
because
right.
my wake sleep schedule is like. But sincerely, thank you for looking in. I did not think that anyone really cared.
Yeah, no, I see you about. You bump around. I see you here and there. It's nice to finally stream with you.
That's what this community. That's what this community is about. Is propping up the other voices. That's what I try to do.
Yeah.
And because they're all important and they all can make a difference in someone's lives, and that's why I do what I do.
That's what this week on the show, I've got Atheist Pastor from Australia. He is guest hosting. This Wednesday, we're going to have Justin Scott from the Iowa. He's the director of the Iowa Atheist Alliance.
Cool.
Is that right? I'm saying that wrong. Anyway, he's going to be a guest on the show. And then next Saturday, we're going to have David Kyle Johnson, Dr. David Kyle Johnson. He's a philosopher, an instructor. He teaches great courses on the internet, some of those great courses that you mentioned.
Oh, my.
Yeah, he teaches some of those. He's going to come on the show and talk sci-fi with me, and because we love sci-fi. We're all nerds, right? And with me and the Math Pig, he's going to be there. So, guys, it's going to be fun. Join us if you can.
I was assuming that all your hosts would be Australian because that would make more sense.
Well, I just happened into when I first started streaming, I was a little nervous about streaming. I was kind of, had the jilly willies, and I ran into Critical Cripple, Dave, and he's like, "Come over here and join this channel." I'm like, "Okay." So I went over there just thinking I was going to watch, like most folk do. And he's like, "Hey, my friend Chris is here. Let him in." So they let me in, and I met all these Aussies, and I've been buddies with them ever since.
You live streamers are crazy. I don't know how you do this.
Yeah,
I don't either.
To tell you the truth, Paul, in some ways, I actually like live streaming better than prepared videos. It's when you got a couple people in. If I'm doing solo, it's horrible.
Horrible
If
solo.
you've
Yes.
got a couple people in and have a conversation going, the spontaneity is the thing I dearly love. And well, okay, I'm going to admit it. I love my right hand person because Kate Barr is on my shows almost constantly, and I love every minute of it. So,
Oh, is she on your shows? I didn't know that. I've been following her for a long time. I didn't even know she had a channel until like 2 or 3 weeks ago. But I've been following her on Facebook forever.
And I'll shut up now, okay? I think most of you know the story. So
Yeah,
Actually, but before someone was talking about bionic dance, and I was actually going to say a lot of new YouTubers may not be aware of bionic dance, and that she's been doing this for
Forever.
she's been a pioneer and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So if you don't know who bionic dance is, if you hadn't heard that name because you're new, go find her because she's great.
yeah.
here, I'm going to help everybody find her, as a matter of fact,
Thank
because
you.
she's worth finding.
Oh yeah, she's very unique.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So while I've got you, forgive me for not knowing correctly. Is it Paulogia? Is that how you say that?
I accept all versions.
Paul. No. If
Now,
you get
wait,
the
what
chance-
was that pronunciation there, Paul?
If you get the, I would like to get with you and possibly have you as a guest on the show. If you get the time to guest host, either one of Dallas, Wade, any of you guys, that'd be wonderful. So before I let you go, I just wanted to say that.
Just hit me up on Twitter.
sometime, but that's awfully early.
There we
So you'll
go.
have to,
That's
Vibe
awfully
you.
early for which one? Paul.
Yeah, from what general, I'm a stay up all night guy.
Okay. I understand. Hey, I used to be a night owl, and my business. I have a business. It was called Night Owl Computers, and I would do it all remotely. And I got tired of it because I never had a break. But and then I married the nurse wife, and she gets up at like 3:00 in the morning and goes and does nurse stuff, and I just can't sleep anymore. So now I get up at 3:00.
Makes sense. Yeah, makes sense.
Well, I can head out of here and let somebody else on if I need to.
Is somebody waiting? Is not
Hey, Neil,
Petrucci
can't hear you.
No
Neil's
word?
audio's out.
I think you're muted, Neil.
I was muted. Thank you. I didn't realize that.
Okay.
I was going to say,
Bro, I can't. Brandon, when he tries to talk, his words are all
your mic is screwed up, buddy.
really bad, brother.
Yeah.
Is somebody waiting? Neil, I can bounce out.
have two
Dallas
people.
Wade just got here.
Yeah. I'll
Let me,
bounce out.
no, I'll bounce out.
Two
Dallas
people
just got
waiting,
here, and I'm
okay.
doing a thing.
No, Brandon, your mic is screwed. You're
Yeah,
coming through.
that mic is.
All right. Okay. Well, there we go.
Okay.
Hang on. We've got Nakasuchi and we've got Unholy Sarah.
Ooh, Unholy Sarah.
Hi,
And Chris.
folks.
You can come back in, Chris.
All right,
'cause
I'm back.
We have space. We have the space.
I'd
For
love
now.
to have those two on the show too, anytime. Either one.
Oh,
Hey, what's up, Chris?
knock
Hey,
us
how's it
easy.
Yeah, if I'm around, I'm available.
You know, when I first started on this internet about a year ago, it's almost exactly a year ago, I started doing the atheist thing on the interwebs, and Nakasuchi was the first guy I found. I watched him and stuff. He's drove me crazy. It's awesome. He's still going at it.
I hate being the first atheist people see.
You know, your shirt matches your wall, right?
Well,
Yeah, it also matches my tattoo. So
There you go. Hi, sir.
Naka, you've got to remember, if you're the first atheist anybody ever sees, it only gets better from there, right?
yeah, or it could really sour them on atheism.
Yeah, or don't have Kentucky Fried Baby with you while you're doing it.
Oh, pushy boy.
I don't think I can hear you, Sarah.
I don't think I said anything.
Oh, well, there you go.
That would explain it.
Well, pipe
So,
up, Sarah.
just real quick, I want to make sure, because everyone was being so nice to you, Paul, and saying such nice things. I just want to check to make sure you're not letting it go to your head.
Well,
Keep him
your ego
honest.
with
Keep him honest.
I'm nearly done my rum, so I won't remember any of it. But I can use this as my motivational, before I go for a jog, I can, play the video back.
I won't say anything to me.
Well, you be you.
This for you, Sarah.
It may come off as disingenuous if you're not being mean.
That's true. I'm a pretty terrible person.
Yeah, you're horrible. Horrible.
I'm so awful.
And speaking of rum, dear, we haven't seen you on movie night in a while.
I haven't been on the new one yet. No, it's been kind of moving around, but we'll figure that out.
Okay, yeah.
Is it going well? I haven't, unfortunately. My life since hasn't been
reasonably well. Now I'm, excuse me, I'm not always there. I'm having a hard time staying up, staying awake. I must be getting old or something. Especially when it gets moved to Saturday, and I've got to do all night Saturday, and then I've got the show on Sunday, and it's like,
yeah, makes sense.
Oh boy. But we are picking up and going on from where it left off, and we want to keep Jeff's legacy going.
I appreciate all you guys are doing on that, and I'm definitely keeping a careful watch, and we'll find my way back there when I can.
Yay, this is a very good thing.
Yeah, okay. Chris, you want to bow out so I can let some more other people in? Because you've been
Absolutely. Here. I'll sit. I'll be in the chat listening.
Okay.
All right. Nice to meet you, Chris.
Nice to meet you. See you around. Bye, Sarah. Bye, Naka.
All right, see you, Chris.
I checked out the channel.
All right, there's Brandon. He's back. How's the mic, Brandon?
Hello.
Oh, that's
much better.
Much better.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Also got Chris.
This is awesome. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Paulogia, actually. Yeah.
I appreciate that, Brandon.
I don't really have a story because I wasn't indoctrinated. I went to a church program, but it wasn't like indoctrination.
Oh man, if you went to a
Just
church,
like play games
anything
and
is a
stuff.
form of indoctrination, Bell.
But some of us are envious that you didn't have to go through that. So
yeah,
yeah,
Okay,
that.
you'll play it.
Well, I hope you're getting something useful out of the videos anyway.
Yeah, I do. I like arguments.
Cool. If only for funny scribbles that are blinking.
Well, it's all good.
Well, I got timely stuff you do.
I got to admit though, Paul, man, when I first saw your animation and then it started blinking, I was like, "Whoa! I didn't even realize you could do that." Like, holy shit, he's looking right at me and he's blinking at me.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm not good at fast-paced stuff, so that's why it's
You all right there, Brandon?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry.
Look how you're holding the mic, like how you do when I'm at band practice. You gonna start singing now or something, or?
I don't.
Yeah.
No worship song.
Good. I mean,
No.
I was gonna go more into the "Run to the Hills." That
so do I need to look out for other people to come in?
I do have my friend Dave waiting, who's also known as Critical Cripple.
Bored? Oh,
good to meet you, Brandon.
Oh, okay. I'll go out. Oh, yeah, you too, man.
Yeah.
I'll leave.
All right. We've got.
All right. So I want to have my chance to talk up Paul. I haven't got a chance to meet you yet, Paulogia. This is like an honor for me. I've met Shannon a few times, and she's helped me out a few times. But I appreciated what you said earlier about there being a place for every kind of style. And I think that I was probably one of those outraged atheists. I'm a raging atheist. But watching you, primarily you, really showed me that I needed to take a different route. And I've been doing that over the last year. And this year, I'm really focusing on that. And I just really wanted to say thank you for just you being you, because it really did kind of calm me down and show me, there's other paths that I could take. I don't have to be so just full of animosity all the time. So I wanted to send that out there.
Well, I appreciate that. The secret, which I use the Avengers quote is, I use the Bruce Banner quote is, the secret is I'm always angry.
Yeah, you're always angry.
None of you, and this will never happen, but none of you get to watch these videos to be the first time I watch them. Shannon does, but I am yelling and I am angry. At the first time I watched through, But
Yeah.
no, but I find like I don't think people are gonna. I wouldn't have listened to me if at that when I'm yelling at it stage. So yeah, well, I appreciate that. Well, I'm glad you're finding a voice, and as long as you're being genuinely you. Because if you're pretending to be something, I don't think that's gonna work.
Oh yeah. And that's always been my shtick is be me but just I think before I was doing the whole rage thing a lot just because people expected it, and it wasn't really me. So now I get to kind of show all of my little facets. I'm a big teddy bear. People don't know that because they see me raging and cursing all the time. So no, I really your videos, and there was a couple other people. I'd say like genetically modified skeptic would be another one. That just really showed me, hey, you don't have to be a dick all the time. You can be a dick, but you don't have to do it all the time.
Right. Sure. Fair. Well, thank you so much. No, I'm, as long as you're being out there and look at that.
Yeah, she wanted a nighttime hug.
Winning the war. Cool.
Aw.
I wanted to say hi to Critical Cripple real quick.
Yeah, Dave, speak up, man. You're here.
Hi, Dave. I should.
Hey, Dave.
I should. I know. Hello. I should add my praise because Paul had absolutely nothing to do with anything whatsoever for me, but I still watch him religiously because he's entertaining.
Same.
Well, good. I'm glad you think so. I do my best.
Yeah, I was already an atheist when I started watching your stuff, Paul. So yeah.
Well,
actually, Paul knew about me before I knew about Paul.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I didn't know you didn't know who I was, so I was just some weird stalker at that point. Then.
No, I figured out who you were pretty damn quick.
I'm trying to remember everyone that's been in and out of here so I can say thank yous later.
Yeah, if anyone's not subscribed to Sarah's channel, they absolutely should. Sarah's got one of the. She's now in her sophomore season, right? This is second year, so you gotta now you actually have to. You can't just be the best new person. You have to be like the best person. But
pressure's on.
Pressure's on.
Thanks a lot.
Sophomore season is always the toughest. Once you get past that,
you can do it. I did it. You can do it, Sarah.
I didn't know that was like a thing.
The rest of us are watching.
Ooh, eyes on you, Sarah.
Oh my!
Oh God!
Why
are you doing that to me?
Duke, FYI,
No stress.
I sent you a link to join in Facebook.
Anyway, Sarah's great.
Yeah, I
if you
can
haven't subscribed to her, go to it.
What's that?
Yeah, I can bow down. I can bow out if you need somebody to bow out at any time. I'm in and out working in.
I've got to go again in a few minutes.
I can stay as well. But,
Same.
thank
I can
you.
It's
stay,
almost
I
2
can go.
a.m.
What'd you have to say, Dave?
I said it's almost 2 a.m. in here anyway, so I'll go in a couple of minutes anyway.
it is nice to finally meet you, Critical Cripple. You've been in my chats, and this is the first time we've ever been in a stream. So nice to meet you.
Yeah.
It is. It's very nice to meet you.
Oh, Dave is a big
I
sweetie.
think you jumped into one of mine once before, at least. I think, Dave.
I have.
Yeah.
I've jumped into one, and then I've jumped into another one where you somewhere else, and you said I hadn't.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I'm dumb that way sometimes. You'll have to forgive me.
Right.
My
I have
memory
one
is
very
dependent on beer.
I have one very dumb question for Paul.
Awesome.
What did you do for Lucas? What'd you do?
So when I joined Lucasfilm, they literally had no internet department. They had StarWars.com, but they were kind of outsourcing it. And so I was the first director of Lucas Online, so their online division, and I had to build the whole infrastructure and staff. And so I ran StarWars.com and IndianaJones.com and the Star Wars store and all that kind of stuff. So it was actually, it was weird. I was technically part of the marketing department. But I got to the company is so small. Like I got to be on set for Star Wars Episode 2 and 3 and watch filming and work with George a lot and do a lot of it was crazily Lucasfilm $1 billion company, but we had about like 100 employees, like 150.
That's crazy
when we ramped up. So any place you threw your hat in, you got to do. So I got to work on like DVD documentaries and all kinds of poster development and logo development. So if you kind of show an aptitude, they let you spread your wings, which is largely what I was there for, was to learn everything I could. So, including I wrote some TV stuff for them. So yeah, but I started out, I got hired because I don't know if you guys, if you're a million years old, you might remember a website called Pork.net.
Yes, I do.
I started that, or I was part of the starting team for that, and got recruited from there to go join the big team.
I'm just glad you weren't responsible for their holiday episode on TV, Paul.
Yeah, well, I'm not that old. Not that old.
I am.
Paul,
I remember it airing live.
Well, I remember it airing, but I wasn't old enough to be responsible for it. So.
Paul, I'm just curious, were you giving talks here and there while you were working with Lucas? Because one of the guys at the gym that I go to says that he thinks he ran into you at a conference of some sort.
Yeah, no, I sorry, I mentioned that alluded earlier. I definitely did the convention circuit, like, the Comic-Con style sci-fi convention circuit. And then I was, as mentioned, I had this weird thing where I was on Hockey Night in Canada a few times.
Yeah, you had mentioned that.
But Star Wars related stuff on there. And so a lot of people recognize me from that. I definitely, and fan conventions was part of my gig. So it's quite possible that he saw me speak somewhere.
Okay, because I was wondering if it was, if he was remembering you or if it was a mistaken identity thing or something.
It could have been.
Yeah, I'm going to, I was thinking even when I was talking to him, it was like 98% the real thing. So, just great. Yay, I think.
Yeah.
Is it yay?
I think.
But I was not responsible for Jar Jar. So those of you who think that I was.
We can be friends again.
But
we'll continue to blame you for it.
With him. So,
does anybody take credit?
You're the closest.
George loves Jar Jar, and he still to this day thinks he's great. So,
I promised this to Bionic Dance already, but
I never had an issue with Jar Jar.
Jar Jar was comedic relief. Really.
Yeah.
Where is it?
We're not here for your calisthenics, man.
Oh, forget it. It just fell behind the bed.
That is totally what I do. I'm going to get it. Oh, I broke it.
I just fucking dropped it behind the bed. I'll have to fish it out of there. It's a picture of Jar Jar being shot accidentally by an X-Wing while it's trying to shoot at a TIE fighter, and it goes right through the middle of him. And I know that Kate can't stand Jar Jar, so I already promised her I'd bring it.
I was very relieved when episode 9 ended with no Jar Jar. I knew there would be an Ewok. In my head, I was like, they're going to put Ewoks in here.
Yeah.
But no Jar Jar. Yay.
No, wait a minute. I'm looking in the side chat, and I'm seeing borscht.net.
Everyone
is that?
No. Someone said pork.net, then they had to be told it was force.net, and then someone went borscht.net.
But as a former Mennonite, borscht.net would absolutely also have been, although weirdly, Mennonites wouldn't use the internet, so I don't know how that would have worked, but borscht.net sounds delicious.
Yeah, borscht is one of my favoriteest foods, definitely. Yeah. I was raised in an Eastern European household. Yes, I know what borscht is.
Oh yeah, me too. My mom's, her family goes back to Romania, stuff like that. So there's all kinds of borscht and stuff. There's different things. You had beet borscht, and then you had the other kinds of borscht.
And then, of course, there's the clear borscht, and then the borscht that contains the mashed up beets and all that good stuff.
Yep.
And
beet borscht is a guaranteed spill on your shirt.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep, especially if you're wearing white.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of beet borscht? Oh, dude, you're missing out. It's great.
Oh man, it's a beet soup, and it's yummy and tasty and everything.
Oh,
you got to give it a try.
Also, oddly, it burns more calories than it gives you, so it's actually a weight loss food as well.
Yes.
Like celery.
I did not know that.
Like celery.
I'm going out and buying 10 cases.
Yeah, I think you sold me. I gotta lose like 40 pounds. So
what is this? An infomercial now for weight loss?
It's an infomercial. I'm gonna buy borscht.net as soon as this is done. New YouTube channel.
Borscht. The Borscht Show. We can all dress up like beets and hang out with them.
Right.
Or what was it? Thomas came on my show a little while back, and he put on the pumpkin suit, which was hilarious.
Nice.
Oh my God, I remember that.
Oh, yeah, that was so funny.
That was brilliant. All right, I got more people waiting in the wings. So if
I'll I'll run away straight away.
All right, Dave. Thanks
Nice to meet you,
for jumping
Paul.
in, man.
Good to see you, Dave.
No problem. See you later.
And I'll kind of fade into the background. And thanks for having me on. Oh God, no wait. I have to say hi to Duke. I have to say hi to Duke.
Well, he's so rare nowadays.
The Duke of all Bonanzas is in the goddamn house.
Oh my! I just had to say hi to you before I disappeared. How you doing, hon?
There's no one else waiting,
I'm okay.
So we're okay for now.
I'm okay. The brakes went out on my car tonight, so it was a very tense 45 minutes home.
Oh no!
Did you have to
But I called into
style? Like put a
more or less, yeah. Yeah, I had to use the force. I want to jump in here real quick about the beat thing with beets, and just tell you that it is my personal opinion and theory that beets only grow in the devil's asshole. They're like the worst food in the history of all foods. You know what I hate? You guys know what I hate? I hate Jar Jar Binks. You know what I hate more than that? Beets. You know what I hate more than that? Nothing. Nothing on this fucking planet. Pickled beets are the most awful thing in the history of bad things.
How do you really feel, Duke?
Now we can never marry.
Well, Neil, I think I always tell everybody how I really feel, which is why I'm not on Twitter anymore.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Yeah.
Oh, did you have a non-voluntary hiatus from Twitter?
Yes, totally did. I don't even know why. I've probably said this on this show like 5 times, but the funniest thing about it is during like my heyday, when I was the Duke Bonanza ever. No, I didn't get freaking smacked. I stopped using Twitter and was only getting on there every once in a while, and that's when I got suspended. It's like, huh.
Said the right thing to the right person, and boom, you're done.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but it's all right. It's been extremely therapeutic.
I've been shadow banned on Twitter, but that's about it.
I live in a trad Catholic-less world.
Well, anyone who does like Twitter really should be taking voluntary break anyway.
I do it from time to time.
RECOMMENDATION.
I did it once. I like deleted it off my phone and just walked away for a while. There was during the big drama bomb that happened.
Which big drama?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Sometimes you just gotta, call somebody a cunt, and sometimes you just gotta walk away. You know what I mean? Like, you throw it up in the air and let it land like Two-Face. I think that's the way I'm going to do it from now on. If I ever get back on anything, I'm just going to get a coin and scar one side of it up, flip it, and decide that way.
Oh shit! Paul and I went through that.
Holy
shit that happened last year.
I was in the middle of some of that too. But speaking of Paul, I got to say that like you really are one in my top 3 content channels on atheist content channels on the platform. Like,
wow, thank you.
Your content is absolutely fantastic, and I've loved it since the first time I ever saw it.
Appreciate that. That's high.
Yeah, man. That's all the smoke. I'll blow up your ass though.
What that tells me is you're only watching 3 channels. That's what that tells me.
I watch a bunch of channels, but yours is very good. Right. Yours and Godless Cranium are my 2 favorite. Actually, my third favorite is actually not even an atheist channel. It's Liana Kerzner's channel, which is a feminist channel, and she's a practicing Jew. So
yeah, no, I actually met Liana in my whole life. That was great. That's great. I was gonna say, so you like Canadian channels? Is what you're telling me.
I do love Canadian channels. I don't know what's up with that either, because I don't like Canadian bacon.
Okay, so here's
and I've never had
bacon. We don't know what that is in Canada. It's something stupid American made up, like French fries. I was like, we don't know what to call this meat. Let's pretend that Canadians call it bacon. We don't.
Listen, buddy. I'm not going to put up with your Canadian propaganda, dude.
I moved to California, and I was shocked to see ham in the store being sold with Canadian bacon. This was a huge revelation.
If you had to say anything would be considered Canadian bacon, it would be back bacon.
Which
is just a different form of bacon. It comes from a different area. And it's not ham. It's actually back bacon. So.
However, Canadians were the first to put pineapples on pizza. So if that's other knock, then
Oh, so it's your fault.
And they call it a
That's like
Hawaiian.
favorite kind of
Jesus Christ.
No, he had nothing to do with
Oh God.
it.
Oh
He had
God.
nothing to do with it either.
But we did give them
There's all right. There's nothing left.
No. All right, so you watched 3 Canadian
We need to conquer
channels and
Canada.
none in the top 3. That's awesome. And Neil isn't in the top 3 somehow. So
I know,
don't how
right?
That works.
It's okay. When this is done, I'm going to go cry in the corner. Okay.
Hey, I
Well, no,
wasn't on
'cause
this
Neil-
list either, so
Neil's a different kind of channel.
Oh, okay. All right.
Hey, Diana, if you put out regular response content, you would be at the top of my list.
Oh, okay. I got to remember that because I did follow.
But you don't put out that much response content anymore.
I know.
least-
That was my stock and trade when I got started, and I fell out of it. I've been wanting to get back into it.
Because your response is genius.
Oh, well, danke schön. I don't know. Maybe I have to look at some of the Catholic Answers garbage out there and go back for it. I don't know how many of you guys know about Catholic Answers, but it's horrible.
I'm a Protestant atheist, so I don't know.
You're a
Oh,
what?
I love anything with
I'm a
faith.
Protestant atheist.
That's
No,
what-
that's the old joke. It's like, I'm an atheist. Well, what kind of atheist are you, Protestant or Catholic? So, well,
Yeah, there you go.
yeah.
Oh, the Hitchens joke.
Hey Zod, what the hell, man? You should jump in and say hello too.
Oh.
I can send you a link.
Oh,
Zod.
okay
I
then.
do-
Yeah,
yeah,
as soon as you get
Prophet
that.
Zod's here.
Like,
He's my favorite.
it's like
Oh, thank you, Julie.
in Alaska
Zod
time.
beats Paul on my list.
Hmm?
And mine.
And I do have someone else in the waiting room right now.
You do? Okay,
I do.
I'll make some room. And thank you for having me on.
Thank you, Diana.
thanks
Good to
for
see you.
saying
Always
hi,
a
Paul.
pleasure, Dana.
Yay. And everybody be good and have fun. And as I always say, thanks a lot, troops. See you on the other side.
Of what? Okay, hang on. Here's Richard Madsen, who's also known as Demolish Doctrine.
Hey, what's up, Richard?
Richard
Peace
had
and
a-
respect to you all. Peace and respect. How you guys doing? Hey, great show.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having that show. And Paulogia, thanks for coming on. Hey, I wanted to say, man, I really like your brain.
Uh-oh. You can't have it.
Well, I don't. I have one of my own,
Okay.
be it what it is, but I do have one. Could I ask a serious thing because you mentioned something in the show, or is this just goof off time?
No, please. Serious things are good.
Okay, cool. You were saying that you often talk about, or you sometimes talk about the resurrection. Yes.
Oh,
Yes, and you think that's a key point, and I have to agree with you.
Yep.
Okay. Have you ever considered, and this is just a weird thought that I have that no one seems to have. Yeah, that's just how it is with me. Have you ever considered the life of the two witnesses and how closely it describes the life of Christ?
You have to tell me what you mean by the life of two witnesses.
In the book of Revelation, the recollection
okay.
of the two witnesses.
And how much it relates to the life of Jesus?
Yes, that they're telling the truth, power over the plagues. They are killed. They are dead 3.5 days. They are resurrected from the dead. They tell the truth more.
Yeah, and certainly a lot of people think that those passages are, an obvious allegory. I know I obviously think that Revelation was a big fever dream.
Yeah.
It sure does sound like it.
And like it, it alludes to. I actually think Revelation is potentially, tells us a lot about what the various sects of early Christianity believed. That would have been. It was a study I would have never thought of when I believed it all. But now I would love to see it actually dissected into like, well, this sect believed that, and this sect believed that, and why, where did this all come from? But no, I hadn't really considered that in terms of like I mainly talk about resurrection in terms of the truth value. And given that I think that Revelation was probably written around 110 AD.
Right. There was a few generations in there to change it.
Right. They had 70 years of writing so I don't necessarily think that anything written in Revelation, would relate to that. What were you thinking? What high? you tied it into into oh my goodness.
Where is Alice anyway? I don't see her on the screen here anywhere.
Yeah,
Alice
is
this
the Brady Bunch?
Sometimes doesn't. I don't know.
We caught her in the laundry room with Sam.
Is this the Brady Bunch or Celebrity Squares?
Ooh, who's center? Am I center square? Do I get that's the
Hollywood Squares?
You have to be the snarky. Paul, you have to be the snarky one.
That's not my role, but okay.
You can do it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, though, but we don't even necessarily know who John the Revelator is, do we?
No, although I tend to agree that it was probably someone named John, because it's one of the very, very few books where the person actually names themselves. But is it John, son of Zebedee? Probably not. Hey, Titan Uranus.
Beautiful. He's got a whole bunch of us saying his name, and I think he's going to make a compilation of it, which is awesome.
Tying that back to the
go with Uranus there, which is what I do in my videos. I don't do people giggling. But,
tying that back to the resurrection, yes, you were saying.
How do you tie it? So I just think it's one of those things where John is an extremely common name, and there were different people named John writing stuff.
Sure.
So I don't think it was John, son of Zebedee, or the other John.
Right. I think obviously not. Yeah.
They were. If you follow the other stuff, they should be dead. So anyway, but why do you think that? I mean, obviously there's a correlation between the 3 days and coming back type thing. But other than that, how did you tie it in? What were you thinking?
Well, I think it gives a lot more detail than some other parts of the book. But if indeed that is recalling the same life, that when we don't see evidence for something, we think that it didn't happen, and I think that's reasonable.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't expect to see evidence of something that is a future event.
No.
Right. So I think it's talking about a future event is what I'm saying. That if I say to a Christian casual and I just trick them just a little bit, and I said to them, if there was someone who told the truth about God, that God fully trusted, that was dead 3.5 days, that was raised from the dead, they'd say Christ. But that's the description of the two witnesses. Anyway, Great show.
Okay.
Love you guys. Hope to see you more later. Have peace. Have a good night. And I'm out.
Good night.
Thanks, Richard. Thanks very much, brother.
Thanks for your opinions, Paul.
I'm going to go too. I still have not done my homework for tomorrow. So.
Uh-oh.
Bad girl. No dessert for you.
Thanks for stopping by, bro.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Bye.
All right, so we can bring Chris back in. I see you hanging out back there, Chris.
Oh, just chilling. Thanks.
Yeah, no worries. I do have room for one more if anyone else would like to jump in. I'm going to go for a little bit longer, but I do have some stuff that I will be taking care of shortly, and it involves hockey. So, and more beer, of course, because that's the Canadian way. Oh, and some of that Canadian bacon too, apparently.
Yeah, it's totally it's totally like Richard Mattson to come in here and trigger me. I didn't even give me a chance to go at him about Jesus in Revelations. I would have really liked to talk about how Jesus in Revelation sounds different than the Jesus in the Gospels. Richard, we have to have a conversation.
He'll be a guest on my show, actually.
Well, he's always on my show. Me and Richard are really good friends. He's my friend. He's got a beard I wish I could grow.
I fully expect you to be in the after party for that one then, okay. So
if I'm not working, I got lucky. I got out early tonight. I'm like, oh man, I'm missing the Paulogia stream because I totally was planning on watching this one. So I at least got out for the after party.
Don't you work on night shift?
Yeah, second shift, and it kind of fluctuates. I get out at different times.
Gotcha.
So a topic I'd love to see everyone cover more is how the Peter and Paul of the epistles are nothing like the Peter and Paul in Acts. And that, if people want to cover, to me, that's a fascinating topic that I'd love to see.
That is a good topic. I am doing a lot of research on Paul right now, but I never looked at that angle. I'm going to look at that angle.
Yeah, please do, because if you compare their theology in the letters and versus what Acts does, like Acts, if I'm skipping ahead to where my conclusion goes, but I would love to hear other people's, is that whoever wrote Acts was desperately trying to make Peter and Paul sound like they were on the same page, when clearly they were not.
That is exactly where my research is right now. So I'm studying the rift between Paul and the early Christian church, led by James, brother of Christ, and they go out of their way to make it seem like Peter capitulates to Paul, when from what I'm seeing, I don't think that that's the truth at all.
Right, and it's funny that the Catholic Church counts Peter as their first pope, but they follow Pauline doctrine. They didn't follow Petrine doctrine. So something's going on there that's worth talking about.
Validation. Like, I have been putting off doing this video because I'm like, man, I'm going to piss a lot of people off. but Paulogia is sitting here saying the same thing.
It's when you see it, it's one of those ones like when you see it, you can't unsee it, right?
Yeah, that's how it is. It's like I can't get away from it. Like I keep trying to stop thinking about it. And I have this vision. To me, it seems like I have come to the conclusion. I think Paul literally hijacked the religion and made it his own. Right. But that's the research I'm doing right now.
If not hijacked, his version of orthodoxy won.
Yeah, he won that little that first major battle in Christianity.
Right.
Hey guys, I gotta bounce
so
out.
Glad I came in tonight.
Hang on.
I gotta bounce out because my shit's gonna die. This StreamYard's always eats up my battery. It's an absolute pleasure to meet you, man.
Pleasure.
Later, Duke.
You guys have a great night and titty bombs.
All right, my brother. We'll talk to you soon.
Oh, that is awesome.
My one thing I always bring up when people bring up the resurrection is I talk about cell death. After all the cells in the body are dead, there is no reanimation. I don't care who you are.
Right, but the Jesus of the appearances could walk through walls and could teleport. Like, I don't think most Christians would have a problem with your cell death idea, because they would say that Jesus got a resurrection body that clearly had capabilities that ours don't.
Sure. Then I'd ask them to show me how that's possible.
Well, sure.
I mean,
the God who made the universe can give us a new body.
He can do anything except find Adam and Eve in the garden.
Right.
Jesus totally flew up into space without a spacesuit. So,
you know, that's how he does it. He just does the blink.
Oh, you've seen The Family Guy where they do that,
That's
right? With the I Dream of Jeannie.
Yeah.
You know that I Dream of Jeannie was a show before Family Guy, right?
Oh, yes, of course. No, I know that, of course. But I mean, there's that one segment where McFarlane kind of makes fun of the whole
I know.
evolution, and then the genie comes out of the water, and she starts blinking, and the cow appears, and the deer appears, and the tree appears.
Yeah.
Because it's
you were asking how a Christian would, explain away that. Well, that's how, matter of fact, we were just talking about something like that, about how Jesus was not the same. I was making the argument Jesus was not the same person after the resurrection. It was literally another person. Jesus died probably of his wounds or infection or something like that. And they had somebody else come along and pretend to be Jesus. And his followers didn't even recognize him.
No, Mary didn't recognize him on the road. I mean,
at first they're like, hey, no, this is really Jesus. Come on, this is Jesus. And like, oh, Jesus, I got you, Jesus. Right?
Oh, yeah, God can't take down iron chariots either, apparently.
Yeah. So, could he not resurrect Jesus bodily to where he looked the same? And then if they say yes, the problem is that he looks so normal, even though he'd just been beaten and was all bloody, they didn't recognize him because he should have been blood. I'm like, that's crap. That's a crap argument. Either way.
I think he's more Dr. Manhattan-y.
Yeah. Chris, it's all made up. It's okay.
Totally. No, I get you. Well, when they're going to bring it at you, you gotta be ready.
Actually, Dr. Manhattan makes more sense, that Jesus would have reanimated his own molecules, and
yeah.
He probably would have wore clothes, but
yeah, not have a dork hanging out the entire time.
I don't know.
Have you seen the Watchmen show, Paulogia?
I have seen the Watchmen show.
I love it. I think it's great.
Great. So
the show,
I was a little nervous, because it was Damon Lindelof, right, who did Lost, or one of the people who did Lost.
Yeah, I was nervous about that.
But what I think modern shows have the advantage that shows even like Lost, which wasn't that long ago, have, is that they now say, here's the number of episodes you're going to get. Tell a story. Unlike Lost, where it was like, oh, maybe you'll have 7 seasons, maybe you'll have 5. We don't know. Tread water for a while. So anyway, and I also love that he stuck to his guns. He's like, I'm not doing Watchmen season 2. This was the story I wanted to tell, and that was it. And while I wish there was more because it was so compelling and so great, in a way, I'm like, thank you for not dragging this out in a way that you don't have a story for.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Nathaniel.
Plus, it was it was a sequel to the comic, which as a comic. Hey, Nathaniel.
Hey.
As a big comic fan, it was nice that they didn't make a sequel to the movie. They made a sequel to the comic. So that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with the TikTok storyline or whatever it was.
No pirates, though.
No.
I haven't seen the show yet. Now I've got to see it.
Oh, dude, watch The Watchmen. It's fantastic.
Have you seen the movie?
Yeah, I've seen the movie. The movie was awesome.
Yeah, I've seen the movie right over there. Seen the series yet?
The movie was good on its own right, but if you haven't read the comic, please do because
do so.
It's kind of like saying, "Hey, I really like the Harry Potter movies." Well, did you read the books? No. Okay, well then you get a whole nother.
Yeah, exactly.
It's another layer there. Yeah.
Right,
like Game of Thrones.
Although I kind of feel like anytime you get the choice, if you've seen neither, watch the media adaptation first, and then read the book because usually the book is so much better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with that. Sure.
It does make it easier to get visual pictures if you watch the show first.
Once I was in a bookstore, I'll shut up sometimes. But my favorite was a lady walked up to the cashier and said, "Is this the book with Brad Pitt in it?" And I was like, no book has Brad Pitt in it. But if that's what you want to imagine,
knock yourself out. Yeah, I mean, I remember my buddy Francis had a comic shop in Richmond that he opened up, and we were there the day he got the original Watchmen comics that came in,
like 86-ish.
Yep. And we were there, and we'd heard about this comic coming out, and there had been, of course, some reviews already, and none of us were. He sold out of them right away because everyone had read the reviews of how wonderful a story this was, and this alternate timeline from the Nixon era on, and it's like, wow, okay, we got to check this out. And I bought like 3 copies. 2 of them I left sealed, and read one, of course, because that's what we did back in the day. I still have my Death of Superman comics. They were still sealed. I still have my Ren and Stimpy with the scratch and sniff that comes in them.
You have Spawn #1 is sealed.
I do.
Yeah, so I like to joke that's the least rare comic that's ever been in existence.
Oh yeah, McFarlane made sure of that.
Anyway,
I actually have a picture of Spawn, black and white, hand drawn one, because my old boss at Sam the Record Man used to. His brother was McFarlane's roommate in college.
Okay,
so he took a photo. Yeah, he took a photocopy of this drawing that McFarlane did, and McFarlane actually signed it for me.
Oh, sweet.
And he gave it to me, which was pretty cool.
So he's kind of a jerk, but whatever.
He is. That's what I hear. He didn't used to be, apparently, but once the fame hit, you know how it hits some people.
Yeah. Well, when he was doing Spider-Man, he was great, and then afterwards.
Oh yeah. His rendition of Spider-Man, I thought was. But
fantastic. He helped save the Oilers for a while, so I forgive him.
Indeed. Look at us geeking out here. It's awesome.
Nate and Sarah. Whoop.
Yeah. Hey guys, how you doing? We can't hear you. You're muted.
You should be able to hear us now.
Now we can hear you.
Yeah, it's Susan.
Susan.
No, that's just funny because I have an older sister named Sarah.
Uh-oh.
So it's like I'm so used to getting called Sarah.
I have downed 2 glasses of rum, so I'm really sorry.
Nice.
And we had a Sarah in here earlier, so.
And I haven't read those papers you sent me. I'm sorry.
I was going to ask you. I was going to say. So, what do you think about Irenaeus? If anybody doesn't know, Paul and I semi-regularly discuss fairly in-depth theology with respect to ancient Near East history. So not as much as I wish we would.
No, we should do more.
Yeah, definitely. And we send like articles and stuff back and forth. Actually, I wrote this morning. I really liked your video, and I was like, I just wanted to let you know that I thought that it was it's
really well done.
The response to the Tacitus thing. Not enough people bring up that there's a great case to be made for not listening to Tacitus at all.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Although it's weird because Tacitus was the person, like 3 or 4 years ago, I was exploring mythicism when I was coming out. And Tacitus was like one of the reasons I held on to was like, oh, well, he must be historical because of Tacitus.
Yeah.
I now have other reasons, but it's funny because, yeah, you're right, because maybe we should throw everything Tacitus wrote out. Who knows? But
well, yeah, it's
that's inside baseball that maybe Neil's audience doesn't care about.
Oh no! I think that's where you were leaning on that video, anyways.
Yeah, but I'm just like, you know, I like to posit like we can accept it as fully true, and it still doesn't mean anything.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
So first we'll talk about that, and then we should at least acknowledge, maybe not. Like it's.
And you're going to be doing these videos like once or twice a month or something, right? You're going to have.
Well, so the video I'm responding to is 3.5 hours long, and I kind of tackled the first 20 minutes or so. So we'll see. I'm not committing to how often I'll do it, but weirdly, like a lot of Christians wrote me about this one and said, "This is going to make you all garbage." And these are not scholars to respect in the field. Like they're fine. They lay out what I would call the layman case, but I would prefer, like I much prefer directly responding to Habermas or Lycona. Like I would prefer that. But if what everyone is watching is the pop level, then
yeah. Well, it's easier. It's easier to listen to, and there are very few people that would know that the term Christian or Christianity didn't exist until at least 90, and which throws an enormous amount of credibility out the window when it comes to Tacitus using the word in his writings with regard to the Romans in 64 regarding the Great Fire of Rome. So
right.
there are people that may be watching right now who are skeptical that may not know that either. And so those real quick 1, 2, 3 point by point apologetics things are the only things that for the most part I hear from folks. And so that's the reason that they are. I just heard like Mario.
It was
okay.
Mario.
That was my phone.
Like,
nice.
My phone.
So that's the reason that it's like if you listen to Habermas, Lycona, the any kind of like debate that I've been in, it's like 1, 2, 3 down the line with apologetics, and they just like repeat the things. So it's not the most scholarly thing, but it's the one that if we can say this right here, there's not sufficient evidence to accept these claims, I think then we can get into some of the deeper stuff. So
Chris, I moderated you.
You actually just sorry, but you just made me think of the fact that, like, holy cow, we can't actually, with the date of the Christian term, we actually can't put Luke then pre-90, or sorry, Acts pre-90 either.
Correct. Acts was likely written, and Professor Shaw, I agree with him on this, around 110, anywhere from 110 to 119. So,
right, which then the 65 proponents for Luke, that sounds pretty ridiculous then.
Or it is a, and this is something that I've been looking into as well. That young lady, that paper that I sent you today, there is a lot of the possibility that like some of the wording that's put in there, not just scribal errors, but rather that it was inserted in some cases maybe much later.
So that passage is interpolation as opposed to original?
I need to look at it again.
Are you saying that it was 2 separate authors from Luke and Acts?
Yep. Possibly 3. So yeah, that's the difference in like basic syntax in the Greek is completely different especially when I look at the one half of the book of Acts and especially how it talks about Paul and the wording it uses is much like what we see in something like 1 Timothy, and that's like the same type of language. So
sure, but the general forgiveness on Luke is that he acknowledges that he used sources, right? Other than the we passages, nothing. If you're a Christian, other than the we passages, nothing has to be original. for it to be still Luke.
Correct. And then, of course, it's also why, while John is my favorite gospel, it's got Super Jesus.
Super Jesus.
He's far and away. I don't know how long have I been using that term? It's been years.
I was like, at least for the last
but
year that we've been
the
together.
phrase high Christology freaks them out just as much as Super Jesus. So
yeah. And that's also why when I look, I was talking with somebody the other day, and this is the Mark, Matthew, Luke, and then John jump, and which is why Luke, I give almost as much credibility to Luke as I do to John, because in the book of Luke we get closer and closer to Jesus actually saying he's God, even though he never does. And then in John, there's only like 4 or 5 instances. These are only instances in the Bible where Jesus even says, "I am either God or a part of God," and it actually kind of moves in from Luke a little bit. So there's the writers there. Of course we don't know who they are, but I have enjoyed really digging into those 4 books over the course of the past. Really, that's all I think I focused on like the last 6 months. So
and
yeah.
I just realized that I am also wearing something having to do with work.
Oh yeah, don't read their shirt.
Hold on.
They can't see it.
No, I know.
Because of where your name tag is, we can't even see your face. So that's not.
Oh yeah,
that's depriving us all. That's not fun. Not fair.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, Paul, I don't know if you saw in the chat, but your lady just showed up. Shannon is here.
Hello,
and she's just going to shut the other stream down and pee, and then she's going to join us.
Okay, cool.
So we'll have we'll
So
be able
I
to
can have a date while we're on the.
Ooh. Is this going to get too hot for TV? Like, should I put up some parental advisory or something?
No promises.
No time for romance.
Jeez.
No time for love, Dr. Jones.
The Christology graph. The Christology graph that I love to use, that just drives them bananas, but it's pretty undeniable.
Yeah.
And especially when you put the other gospels they didn't accept in there.
Which one is your favorite, by the way? I've been meaning to ask you that.
Of the apocryphal gospels? Oh, well, Thomas, because of talking cross, man.
That would I like Thomas because it's the sexy times. I do like the infancy gospel of James. Where
go ahead.
Where and this is the story, right?
Walking baby Jesus.
The walking around baby Jesus.
So creepy.
And where Salome, and by the way, some people may have never heard this before, so children's ears and all that. Where Joseph goes to find Salome, who's different than the midwife, so this contradicts things. And Salome comes, and it comes from they were in a cave in the middle of the desert. They weren't even in Bethlehem. And Salome comes in, and she's like, wait, how did she have a baby if you guys never had sex? And Joseph's like, don't stone me. She's a virgin. And Salome says, as they will say, as proper Jewish, things go. She says, I'm going to test.
She pulls a TI, basically.
And she puts her fingers inside of Mary's vagina and to feel for her hymen, which, by the way, even if she was a virgin, wouldn't exist anymore.
Nope.
And at that point, she pulls her hand out, and her hand is going all Thanos. Literally is wasting away. And at this point, and I don't remember the exact next part of this because it's been a while since I've read it, but either it's Joseph or somebody says, pick up the baby Jesus and touch her hand, basically, and her hand comes back up, as in like whenever spoiler alert, they come back in Avengers Endgame. Same concept.
But that's messed up. But if you'd have said what's my favorite, just not the gospel. So Acts of Peter is also messed up because Peter has a daughter who he doesn't want to sleep with other men. So one of Peter's miracles is to cripple his own daughter so that she won't seduce other men, men in general. And then someone comes in and is like, well, how could you do this? Or prove to me, he wanted to prove that it was actually a miracle, not that she wasn't crippled. So he heals her temporarily, lets her walk around the room a few times, and then cripples her again, just so that she won't seduce people.
You
'Cause
see what
apparently
you're
she's
missing?
Yeah.
I would have enjoyed that one.
So I don't know how that didn't make the Bible, but whatever.
Those for all the things, like they could have taken out, look, 1 Peter, 2 Peter, all the Johns.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. I'd take out Philemon, and there you go. Now we can have the Gospel of Peter, the Gospel of Judas, please. The Apocalypse of Peter. I want the infancy gospel in there, and then any. That one's also very, very funny as well. So there's, I don't know which ecumenical council they decided that that the pseudepigraphical ones were good ideas. When they did, I would rather have the good ones than the ones that are like, here's a 4-page letter. No, I want the good stuff.
There's also the incredible anti-Semitic Gospel of Pilate, which is.
And when that's some of the foundations of anti-Semitism.
Yeah,
that's very much blaming it on the Jews.
Oh yeah, like Christians usually do.
Those damn Jews.
And well, so does the Gospel of Judas. Kind of does that too a little bit. And
I've not read that one. Okay.
Yeah, this is going to surprise you, but in the Gospel of Judas, he's the good guy.
Who'd have thunk?
Yeah, and basically, Jesus takes him aside and tells him that nobody else understands. This is almost like a Gnostic gospel, and they accepted it for a while too. It's like nobody else can understand this except for you, and they can't actually kill me, and they can't kill you either. And because there's another me that's not actually Yahweh Elohim, which is the God of the earth, but there's another me that is going to be above the cross, basically laughing at these people because they can't hurt me.
Yahweh,
and also
El Supreme?
El Supreme, exactly. And I forget what this one's, but I was like, could you get any more close to the Gnostics without actually being one? And then it just ends, by the way. Just like the Apocalypse of Peter ends like mid-sentence.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Well, that's because we don't, but they think that's because we don't have it, right? They just don't think we have the end. They probably didn't end that way, but yeah.
Yeah.
And the point of all of this is that, look, this would have sounded normal had any of these made the canon. We would have all accepted these things as true.
Mm-hmm.
They only seem silly because we didn't accept them. But if the Gospel of John had been cut out, we'd be laughing at that stuff.
Yep. Yeah. And then we would literally have zero instances where Jesus ever says, "I'm God."
Right.
In the entire text, which is how, by the way, we know he didn't. And it's those parts are really they're like I thought it was the Gospel of Peter that talked about the walking cross.
I think you might be right. Yes.
And at this point, if you don't know, by the way, we're talking. I feel like I'm taking over the stream. I'm so sorry.
No, this is fascinating, man.
That's all you. That's all you, honey.
Where it's the only first-person account of the actual resurrection that exists anywhere, and it.
What did you do?
Wow, I didn't do anything. There's a huge error screen. All right.
We still hear you.
Okay.
Yay.
And
for now.
Yeah, this person who, by the way, claims to be Peter, obviously it's not. Peter couldn't read or write. Says that they see the resurrection happen. They see the centurion, and they see the angel or whichever come down, and then the stone rolls away, and then out walks two beings who are so tall that their heads stretch up to the sky. And then there's a third one that walks out who's so bright, and who's bright that you couldn't actually see their features. And that person's actually taller than the first two. And then, as Paul mentioned, out behind them, out walks or hops, I don't know how crosses do this, the actual cross of Jesus.
Hobbles
and not only does it walk, but it also talks. because Yahweh from heaven talks to it and says, have you delivered the gospel to those who have fallen asleep? To which the cross responds, yes, I have delivered the gospel to those who have fallen asleep beforehand, or something like that. And so this is all obviously metaphor, because at that point, when you're tall, being taller meant of more importance. And so you have angels and you have Jesus. And then the cross was actually Jesus in the Holy Spirit form, talking back to Yahweh and saying, yes, I spoke with those who came before and were already dead. Basically, and this is where you get the idea that anybody, even those that have already passed on, can receive salvation, even though they'd never heard the gospel while they were alive. And
plus a hopping cross is no more weird than a talking snake.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, and yet this is something where if it had it been included, because you have biblical literalists, had it been included, you would be talking about like
cross pogo sticks.
Yes, actual.
Boing, boing,
I'd buy one.
boing, boing.
Yeah, it is that I actually would like to have had that one because it's so good.
But isn't a pogo stick really just a cross anyway?
Uh-huh.
Because it has the little handle.
It's upside down.
Yeah. Little bell on it. Ding ding.
And this all goes back to Jesus being like Dr. Manhattan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's everything's connected. It really is.
I love how you tie that all back there, Paul. That was great.
I don't know how it related to Dr. Manhattan, but I'm
Because Dr.
about
Manhattan in
this.
Vietnam went like super tall and glowy.
Oh no, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
And also,
Luckily, they, for the sake of their,
He put on pants for that
modesty-
one.
Yeah, it was less pants and more like a bikini bottom.
Yeah, she didn't hear that you guys were talking about Watchmen. She's got Rorschach over there, and
Yeah, I'm a huge Watchmen fan.
And what did you think of there's the Rorschach mask coming out. The HBO
Nice.
series you were okay with?
I really liked it. I thought it was a good way of continuing it. And of course, now I look like an asshole because I have a Rorschach tattoo.
Ooh.
So, makes me look like I'm a racist asshole, but
look,
Does this work for you?
It is unique.
But I've seen Kickstarter for ones that actually move, like with your breathing
Yeah.
and with the heat and stuff. Yeah.
That would be rad.
Like that?
Oh, yours does. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
look at that.
damn!
Oh wow. How do I
It's got a handlebar mustache just like yours. It's weird.
Hey Neil, how do I change my name?
Do you click
Can I
on
get it here? No.
No.
I take off the whole thing.
I think maybe when you'd have to log out and then come back in.
Oh.
Then you have the chance to.
Because it's not just
It's not just me. We thought it was going to be, and then we discovered the equipment that we needed. I say we.
I found it.
Yes, she did.
Because when in doubt, Susan usually knows where everything is.
Well, she did. I was like, hey, yeah, Dallas. And by the way, it's good to see you, Dallas. We don't get to talk enough either.
Hi, Shannon.
There's Shannon's green screen.
Hi.
Yeah, that's right.
We were chatting about earlier. I said, have you tried XSplit? Because she was talking about
fine.
And Shannon came back and she was like, look here.
Yeah, I still got to figure out how to get my OBS echoes, but not consistently. Just like it sometimes it echoes, sometimes it doesn't echo during a live stream, and I can't figure out what the fuck is happening. Like I don't know what's going on. Like I don't know. I can't figure it out. Like I can't switch platforms now. I barely have this one sorted. I can't go to a new one.
You don't even know if it's OBS for sure. So like, yeah.
Are you using OBS or Streamlabs OBS? Not that it matters. Just curious.
Oh,
green or black?
I have both, and I whichever one I click on. The same issue is prevalent in both of them, actually, with regards to the echo. I don't know what the hell to do about it. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know what to do about it. I have no idea. And it's a new issue. Like it's only since I upgraded my internet. It's the weirdest thing.
Canadian internet. I don't know.
That's
So
probably
back-
it.
Hey, whoa.
It's probably better than ours, honestly.
Yeah, we are vastly outnumbered right now.
There's 3 of them. The I don't know. I don't actually know where Chris is from. Sorry, Chris.
And we rep the east, the middle, and then the west.
Oh, yeah, you're relatively close to us.
You're in
right?
Texas?
No, I'm from Texas.
Oh, from. Okay.
Oh, I was like,
Mexico. It's kind of the same thing. It's like,
from the Canadian Texas.
We have none of the provinces that our government cares about, so there's that.
They care about BC.
Bullshit.
You're right. Sorry, they care about Ontario.
They care about Ontario, Quebec, and then the rest of them.
And then whatever.
You have to pull on their shirts every once in a while. Hey, we're here too.
Oh yeah.
Paul, you were trying to say something about Dallas. Does Dallas?
Oh, I just want to say Dallas' super chat or whatever regarding Jesus in Disney's thing. So Marvel and DC each have Jesus characters in their canon.
That's true.
That they can both pull from, and I actually think that probably not my lifetime, but in my kid's lifetime, it's quite possible that like Jesus as an Avenger. Totally possible.
Wow, man.
What would he do?
Because at some point, we're going to figure out that this is just myth that they can draw from that doesn't offend people any more than anything else, and we'll get Avenger Jesus.
Well, there's already a Thor.
Yeah,
exactly.
I thought it
right?
was basically
Well,
Deadpool, but he's not an Avenger, so.
No.
There are
X-Men.
True.
I mean, there are plenty of like you don't even need that. You could have like the good and the bad. Pick your gods. You could do the entire pantheon. I just want Apollonius on my side, honestly.
Jesus.
Captain. And
Captain Marvel will always be more powerful than Jesus. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
correct.
Dude, she took a straight blow from Thanos and looked at him.
Right. What if Jesus has the Infinity Stones? Then,
but Jesus would have wilted like a flower.
But if
that's true.
If I am to accept though the first ecumenical council that Jesus not only is God but was God in the very beginning, which contradicts basically the entire Bible. That means he's omnipresent, so he always has the stones.
Ooh.
See?
Ooh. Yeah.
But what does a timeless being need with a time stone?
Yeah. Exactly. Can I kick him in the stones?
Maybe that's why he's timeless, is because he has.
I was going to say that explains the whole space-time thing.
Maybe we ought to kick his ass and take his stones.
Hey, Titan, do you want another name shout out from Shannon or what?
I'm supposed to shout out something? What am I supposed to shout out?
Just Titan always like say my name, and then he makes a collaboration of all of us.
What am I supposed to say? I'll say it.
Titan Uranus.
Titan Uranus.
There you go.
Wow.
Because of the math pig, I have
Tighten
not
it.
said it. There she goes.
Titan Uranus right now. Do it.
Yes.
Don't wait.
Let
Don't
me get
make
my
me tell you
scanner.
twice.
That one didn't work on me because I was just like, why is Titan Uranus funny?
I know, and my friend
Daniel.
Matt Pig always says moon planet. He won't say it.
He won't say it. Right. And so on my show, I haven't said it yet for him. So I'll say it when he asks, when he wants me to say it. So,
Well,
for
and I
Math
know,
Pig,
I know
haven't said it.
originally Uranus was supposedly going to be named after its discoverer, which was like George something. And they were just all like, yeah, Planet George just sounds really boring.
It doesn't fit well with the rest of them.
So even then, like Uranus,
Saturn, this is
Uranus-
George.
Right. Yeah. Like it's still a bastardization of what it was named after anyway.
You know what I found really cool? When they finally got good pictures of Pluto, there was actually a Pluto on Pluto that they were able to outline and show.
Really?
Based on Pluto on
God
Pluto.
confirmed. God
good.
confirmed.
There you
That's
go.
so meta.
That's
Check
why
my
the
data.
atheist said it wasn't a planet anymore.
Yeah.
Because like,
That's right.
Yeah,
I thought
Neil.
it was Neil deGrasse Tyson that said that.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. Yep.
You know, I yelled at him for that. I don't think he ever read it, but I yelled.
Still yelled.
all that matters.
Has to do with mass, Neil. Sorry.
I was
you, Mass.
fortunate enough. I was fortunate enough to see Neil deGrasse Tyson back in 2013, I think it was.
Back in the good old days.
Yeah, back ages ago. He spoke at A&M Corpus down back in my hometown, and he read. He said it was the word according to Carl, so he read the pale blue dot excerpts, and I was just all like, "I'm not crying, you're crying. I'm not crying, you're crying. I'm not crying, you're crying."
Yeah, you want to tell them what the name of the television is? Our TV's name.
Oh, so our TV's name is Drian, after Andrian. My phone is Sagan, and I'm pretty sure, which is the one that's Feynman? Something's Feynman as well.
Something's Feynman.
My computer's named
Blender,
Jakar.
Microwave. Definitely the microwave.
You get I don't know what it is. I didn't get the sticker in there too. What would Carl Sagan say?
Yeah.
One of the
Sagan
corgis found a toy.
Who's got the fucking?
I thought it was Bella with a squeaker. I for sure.
Not my pup. My pup.
I assumed it was Bella.
That's Benny.
I saw his tail go back and forth. I was like,
Yeah.
"Yep, he found a toy."
No, he's doing that thing. It's really cute.
Dallas's middle name is Sagan. That's pretty awesome.
Nice. I know someone who named their child Sagan, and I was all like, "You are the greatest human being in the world, tiny human."
Yahweh was a Sith Lord? What?
Yeah, that makes sense. I'd buy it.
Only Sith stealing absolutes.
That's what I was gonna say. Thank you. If there was anybody who else was going to say it, though, I think it would be you.
He hates Star Wars.
I can tell.
Yeah.
I can tell so much trauma from it. You know.
One of us hates Star Wars. I can't remember which one.
Who can hate Star Wars? I mean, I love all that shit, man.
I don't hate Star Wars. I'm just like, I like Star Trek.
Tired of it.
What you guys?
I'm a Trekkie through and through.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I feel like I should put my uniform on again.
That's right. Well, you know, they're talking about what they named their stuff. I named my computer Jakar.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jakar. I got a Jakar and Londo, and that's kind of just how.
Nice.
That's kind of nerd I am. Of course, I'm getting with the Mandalorian. I'm beginning to kind of come around to Star Wars. I was
Mandalorian was good though.
But I was always been a Trekkie. You know, Trek just has been my.
Oh yeah, me too. Since I was 3 years old.
It's both tasty and delicious. I love it.
Our wireless, our Wi-Fi is named Lando Calrissian.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
catchy.
All me. Hi, my name is Susan, and I'm a giant nerd.
What is my Wi-Fi? Oh yeah, my hotspot is Optimus past his prime. No.
I'm also a nerd. I even
Nice.
I love
I
it.
mine says
Yay.
I need my space.
Mine,
Yeah.
mine's just
All I've got is the
basically
Schrodinger surprise.
So can we all just talk about for a minute how Space Force uniforms are camouflage?
Oh yeah.
Woodland camouflage.
I'll never see them out there like that.
They are
No one will ever peg them in space.
No.
not on the forest moon of Endor.
Oh, yeah. I always thought that why isn't the camo like black with little dots on it?
Oh,
Because that would have made sense.
I mean, I actually expected like real Star Trek uniforms, so I'll take camouflage.
He's like, this is a pleasant surprise.
Who's gonna be the
like,
red
I got
shirt?
this. Who's gonna be the red shirt?
Pick somebody as the red shirt. It's
Mine's red.
Oh, sorry, Neil. You're done.
Oh, it's okay. It's the next generation red, so it's okay.
Yeah, they're fine.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, red shirt.
Captain's red.
Oh, that's right. Yep, truth.
I have no idea the difference there.
What?
Well, the
Well, they
next
changed red
generation
to
red
command.
don't die. They're captains. They're not
Oh,
security
got it.
officers.
Oh, it's like Picard then. I know that's a TV
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know that's a TV. I don't even know how to talk to you right now. Did you
I
just say
know.
I know that's a TV show?
It's not.
Oh my god!
Admittedly.
Yes,
Not on
but
yet.
like
Admittedly,
Thursday.
when it comes to
This is
pop
Thursday.
culture nerdery,
There are
it's
4
not
lines.
nearly as much.
Star Trek's
There are
not
4
pop
lights.
culture.
Yeah.
If are we saying Star Wars isn't pop culture, but Star Trek is?
No, I never said
No,
Star
Because
Wars
I
wasn't
will
pop
throw
culture.
down right now. I'll go get my tricorder. I will go get.
And I got
have
a
one
bat.
of those. I have a transporter with like a data figure that like the old school next gen transporter. And I have a tricorder, I have a communicator. I will go get, don't make me go get them. Don't make me go get my Star Trek Doctor Who hybrid lunchbox that I made Paul get for me as a present when we went to Edmonton. I will go full throttle.
That's what I'm doing.
That's awesome. Way to go. You know, when I was like 5, my mom made me a gold, because I'm older. She made me a gold Kirk uniform. I was the proudest. Yeah, I was wonderful. I loved it.
Are we getting figures? Because I'll do it. I'll go right
you
now.
don't have this figure.
What is it?
Go ahead. I don't,
Show it to me.
you gotta move it to the
Oh,
camera.
yeah. No, I don't.
You gotta move closer.
What is it?
It's a
Funko
Funko
Yeah.
Pop.
Han Solo and the Falcon.
It's the largest Funko Pop ever made.
Yeah, it is ginormous.
No, have you seen the new Funko Pop store in Hollywood? The pictures?
No.
They have life size fun that you go take your
Oh,
selfies
right.
with.
Yeah, I think they have those at the Funko. Yeah, like in Seattle, right?
Yep. Well, there's a new one in Hollywood. They may have in Seattle. Yeah.
No. No. Well.
I want to
No,
go
I have
there.
to go get mine. I'll be right back.
Oh.
See, that's my prize pop right there. See?
Oh, and Darkwing. I love it.
Nice.
My online persona for years has been Darkwing. I mean,
Nice.
Do I need to break out my original Lego Star Wars Millennium Falcon?
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very first one. And
The
Boba Fett
answer to
slave
that
ship.
is always yes.
I liked it.
Let's see. I'll wait for Shannon.
I'll see if it's within reach now because I have so much shit over here.
And I got me a piece of Picard film.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
I mean, one of it
Nice.
was the Nemesis movie.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's the wife gave me that. It was wonderful.
Which one wasn't the one that came out in like 95 or 96?
The Star Trek.
Yeah.
I grabbed as much
Like
as I
the
could carry.
movie.
I'll be right
Well,
back, you guys.
Generation, was
It-
Generations 95?
Well, I know.
That could be
I
Joe.
think it had Borg. I don't know.
That was the first contact.
There we go. First contact.
was good.
Yeah,
My parents took me to that in the theaters.
my son, I adopted my ex-wife now, my ex-wife's son, and his very first movie that he ever went to was this 2009 Star Trek. Look at her.
That's the best. Oh my god.
That's wonderful.
The nerd is strong with this
The
one.
nerd is
I
strong.
love it.
That is wonderful. Yes.
I love it so much. Oh
Look
my
at
god.
My wife is just finding her inner geek. So.
This is a Jodie Whittaker doctor.
Oh, look at
Jodie Whittaker is the best doctor.
That was
amazing.
By the way.
Anybody know who this is?
Yes.
It's K9.
Yes,
It's
K9.
K9. Yes.
Wow.
That's as much as I could carry.
It has been many moons.
Oh,
since
I
I've
also
been
have
K9.
my NCC 1701D.
1D. Look at that.
Nice.
Does it have a name or is it just letters and numbers?
That's it.
This is an Enterprise. What's the Enterprise?
Okay, that's the one that I needed. I was
You know,
like,
we can taser you through the internet.
Yeah,
So you're lying in a pool of your own urine. I'm just saying.
This one, the lunchbox even came with a stand to put the like toys.
That's that. Yeah, Nathaniel's nerdery is far different than
Yes.
my nerdery. Like, I'm humongous nerd. He is humongous nerd. We are just different brands of nerd.
yeah.
But this is like for real. Like this is this is a classic toy. This is like a 50-year-old toy.
Shannon,
Like-
have you ever dressed up as Jadzia from
Oh,
the Trouble with
Dax?
Tribbles episode?
Oh, when she was
Remember?
when she was in first gen uniform. Yes. Like,
Yeah, see, that would be blue outfit. You got the hair. You could do the thing. Yeah,
I
that
would-
be a
I
great
would-
Comic-Con thing for you. You got the tricorder already.
I do, and the communicator.
Look at you.
First
See,
gen
yeah.
communicator.
That's awesome. That's grande, isn't it?
Original
My-
series.
My
I love
boss
it.
has one of those that he can hook Bluetooth.
Did you
to.
see this new?
Yeah, I know. I'm jealous. You showed me that last time.
Plus, I had a huge Jadzia crush, so that would work out for me.
Ooh, it
A
would
triple.
work out.
A triple. Do not feed
Cosplay.
it.
The very
I
first.
have Doctor Who Risk. Oh, I should go get my. I have Doctor Who Risk.
Oh yeah, they've got everything Risk and everything Monopoly and everything
Yeah.
fucking shoots and ladders now.
Neil, I got Susan the updated version of that Monopoly.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So
This
it's
is the
like
first one that came out.
full.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my sister had that one back when we were like 10 and 12 years old.
No one's allowed to be Boba Fett but me.
Did you see this one?
I
love her.
You know, I enjoy that. That's good.
I'm always Han anyway.
Oh, is that the? Oh yeah, Jodie Whittaker.
Yeah, I knew you'd know, Neil.
I was
Actually-
telling Jen Aldrich that she has to keep her hair like Jodie Whittaker from now.
Oh, yes. Yes, and she needs some suspenders.
Dallas, my Legos are actually buried so deep in there, it would probably take me 20 minutes to dig them out. But I do have the original, the very first that came out, I think, in 96 or 95, Millennium Falcon and the Slave one, Boba Fett ship.
Nice.
That was one. That's a Funko that is the Boba Fett with the slave,
With slave
thing.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one.
man.
That was one that's in the Smuggler's Bounty, which kind of makes sense with him.
Yeah.
I know these things because she likes Funko, and I want to get those for her. I don't know these things otherwise.
I have a lot of Funko Pops. Like that's primarily
The only one I got is Edward Scissorhands.
You know, the most of the cool is on the left side of the screen in this house, is what I'm saying. That's all I'm seeing from. He knows his Bible, but she knows her sci-fi, and that wins me.
Find them, Dallas. I promise. I'll pull them out and show you one of these days.
my parents raised me very, very nerdy.
Yeah.
So.
That's good.
Same.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
What's
Nathaniel,
all your nerdy stuff, Paul?
So weirdly, when you work on the films, like
You don't want to collect it.
well, I got so much of that stuff as part of my job. But when I moved, I actually took, like, I had thousands of books and I donated them to the libraries here because I was like, you know what?
Nice.
I kind of OD'd on Star Wars for my life and I'm not going to read these again. So there are libraries here in my town that have so many Star Wars books and so many of those things. And yeah, a lot of the toys got donated, and I kept a few things that are like one of a kindy things that I got. But yeah, I kind of lost but my kids do Lego, so I actually have a Lego room in my house.
Yes, he does. It's a true story.
So my kids all have all that stuff, and
It's a true story.
but like you guys, I see you guys are like, oh, I got this when I was 12. I'm like, oh, I worked on that.
I am 33, so I'm not that young, but I'm also not that old.
Oh man, I wish I was 30.
Me too.
I know, to be 33.
30. Cheers to being 33. I
I
remember
just
it.
turned
It was
33
great.
like last week. Or
Well,
2 weeks ago.
add another 20, and that's
When's
what
your
I'm-
birthday? We must be close. Mine's
January
December
11th.
Oh, mine's December 8th.
Oh yeah, so we're not that far away.
Not that far away. Well, and multiple years. I'm significant. I'm old. I'm a lot older than you.
No, she's not. No.
I'm 38.
Purple's got the original Slave one still sealed, desperate for cash if anyone needs it.
I've got to cover some candy bars if I trade it.
So the weird part about that Boba Fett, I didn't like the mold of its helmet in that original one. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it was a little different, but you get used to it after a while. You remember when the figures came out and you had to send away 5 proofs of purchases?
Oh man, yes.
Yeah,
that's why all of my cards have a notch cut out of them. Like all my old figures have.
I did the same, and I
You
ended
know-
up getting it in the mail.
You guys probably don't want to hear this, but when I was a kid, I was powerful broke out in West Texas, and the only time I saw any Star Wars toys was when I'd go over to other people's houses and play with them. Totally, yeah.
Don't take the lightsabers out of the arm because then you lose them.
Yeah, right.
In there.
I was raised Baptist. We weren't allowed that stuff, so I'd go over to my friends' houses and I'd get so jealous.
Yeah. I'd see them. They would throw them aside and not care about them and not play with them. I'm like, oh my goodness, that's the most bestest toy in the entire world.
You're like, no, that would kill me. Like I
Yeah.
grew up in a house where my mom was a Stephen King fan and a Star Trek fan, so she had an original schematic of the Enterprise and an NCC 1701D schematic, like in our safe. They were in our safe,
I've made up
along with
for it.
an original pre-edit press copy of The Stand. Those were what she had in the safe.
I've made up for it. So my daughter's being raised because I'm a Stephen King fanatic. I'm more of a Star Wars guy, but she's being raised Stephen King and Star Wars, and I do like my Star Trek. I'm a Next Generation guy.
My
Me
mom
too,
was
that's what I grew up on.
my mom was religious whenever I was younger, but she, through her love of William Shatner, I believe, actually kind of moved towards, because she just had the thing for. Remember, I told you the gold outfit for her 5-year-old man.
Captain Kirk
I know.
was like everything back then, dude. Like,
Yeah. So I remember her baptizing me at 7. And then by the time she passed, whenever I was in my 30s, she wanted just a barbecue. She didn't want no preachers. I credit Star Trek for pushing my mother to the other side.
That's great.
Yeah.
Star Trek was pretty progressive.
Yeah.
Star Trek was good.
I mean, somebody said, I think it was Nakasuchi said he was a TNG guy. I mean, Picard, I was like 13 or 14 or something, and he come on, and I loved the Star Trek, and I was dying for it, and I watched him, and I did Shakespeare in Odessa, Texas because of Picard.
oh
You
yeah,
know?
yeah.
I mean, he was such a huge influence. I went on to become a self-proclaimed intellect, had an IT business and all this stuff. My twin brother didn't get those things, and he's, we're just completely different. And I credit a lot of it to my love of Star Trek, specifically Picard, and the influence that he had on my life, making me want to be better, smarter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
more
Picard was my
classy.
favorite. I love that man.
Yeah.
So I haven't had a place to say this anywhere yet, but I want to say this. Oh yeah, yay, 2 faces.
Yeah, but but you hate Paul though, right? Is that right, sir?
Dune 2020 is going to be the new Lord of the Rings and new pop. It'll be the new pop culture nerd thing. The Dune
Really?
2020 movie
for that
is going to be amazing.
Is it going to be good though?
No, but because people I know who are in positions to know these things are like, we secretly think this is going to be better than we thought it was going to be.
Who, like John?
And other people, Disney people. Anyway,
real people.
But, no, it's directed by Denis Villeneuve, who did the previous Blade 2049, and Arrival. Like he gets the sci-fi hard. He gets the hard sci-fi stuff.
2049 is okay.
No, but the look of it. And, and the willingness to be slow,
it needs to be.
Like J.J. Abrams couldn't make Dune, right? It's just
not a
it's all over.
Yeah,
chaos.
Somebody needs to do Dune right.
So anyway, I'm just putting this out there because I want to put this out there. I think Dune is going to be the new nerddom for.
I love.
Yeah, I think so. I think
So the
already
new Dune
nerd.
is actually going to be worth it.
I know Dune's already nerddom, but
yeah, but the movie that released, I mean, there were some cool effects in it, but I didn't think they followed.
The original movie I thought was horrible.
Are we saying
I thought the
Dune or
miniseries was
Dune?
okay, but there was so many like production faults with the miniseries.
Well, they couldn't.
Are we saying Doom or Dune? Are we talking about Dwayne Johnson on the
like the Frank Herbert?
Yeah,
Yeah, Frank
Gotcha.
Herbert. Yeah.
Thank you. Y'all's funny
Vin
accent.
Diesel with the eyes that are
Now we are in a
No,
high sphere
no,
of nerdom now. Like this is where I can excel.
Spice must flow.
The spice must flow. That's right.
Okay,
Yeah.
That Dune.
No, we're not talking. We're not talking Chronicles of Riddick.
The Rock
Yeah, no,
on
I
Mars.
corrected myself immediately.
Chronicles of Riddick. No, he didn't go there. He went there.
No, I did.
Black
That
was
was
fun.
me.
That was her. Oh, we'll
That was
blame
me. That was my bad.
All right.
All right. Well,
guys.
Neil's got hockey to watch.
Yeah, I'm going to take
Yeah.
off. I'm already being messaged
I've
by
been
my
bad.
buddy. We're drinking all your beer. I paid for the beer last night. And I used that fucking skip the dishes because I was too drunk to go drive and get more.
her. Nice to meet you, Shannon.
It's be $40 for 18 fucking beers.
Did somebody say my name?
I just said it's nice to meet you. I've seen you before I've never streamed with you, but it's nice to meet you.
Oh, so
You also come be on the
oh,
morning
you have a
show.
channel?
Yeah, the Daily
Atheist.
Oh, okay, cool.
I even guessed it on there one time.
It's on
I
at
do a
6 in the
morning show.
which is 9 for you, so it works.
Yeah. I do a
Oh,
morning
9
show.
a.m.
Yeah.
I'm at work at 9
You
a.m.
know what? Saturday we're having Dr. David Kyle Johnson. He's a philosopher and scientist. He teaches
Had
at a
him on. He's
university.
fantastic.
He had him on, and he's really big into psychology and science fiction. He molds them together in these great courses online. He's going to come on, and we're going to talk sci-fi. So
Oh, fine.
Saturday,
I love
6
that.
a.m. Mountain Time. So if y'all want to check it out, check it out.
Cool.
Until Paulogia came on my channel, that was one of my favorite interviews. Was with him.
And now I approve the whole show.
Yeah, that's fine. I've been on your
Canceling his
channel,
whole
but
channel
whatever.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm just chump change,
That's
Neil.
what you get for spilling wine on me.
See how it is.
Shannon.
Rule of acquisition number 33: never hurts to suck up to the boss.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Kyle's not
I
there.
still haven't been on yet.
Me either. I'm coming up in March. I'll be on his channel in March.
Is that a hint, Susan?
Yes.
All right,
Was it subtle? I wasn't meaning to be subtle.
No, it kind of threw it at me like a brick. So
Yeah.
I'll message you and we'll set something up. I'm booked up until April, so just so you know.
Sweet.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, I
Very
can't
good
complain.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shannon, you were very early on in my YouTube.
I don't want to talk to you
career.
anymore. Stop trying to make it up.
Get him, girl. Get him.
Whatever.
Speak to the hand. Speak
Yeah,
to the hand.
exactly. I've had so many people on though, and I'll tell you what. There's little bits and pieces about every story that I've heard that's ring out it to me still to this day. So that's the best I can do.
I'm rage quitting.
Flounce. We're gonna flounce and leave.
Flouncing mincers. All right. So, anyways,
it's nice to meet you, Paul.
Do you, Jew?
It's nice to meet you too. Nice to see everybody else again. I've seen all of you guys before.
Weep Ninny Bond.
A little Transformers the movie plug. All right.
Just had to throw it out there.
That was Eric Idle that did that voice, by the way.
It was wonderful. Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah,
Monty
great
Python.
show.
K9.
Oh, that's awesome!
Nice.
K9. That is adorable.
You didn't see this guy either then.
Oh, I have one of those.
I'm drooling here.
Ooh, he came in. He came in this.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Well, mine came in a cereal box.
Of all the places.
Yeah. I actually had to put the stickers on myself. So.
Oh no, mine came pre-stickered.
Pre-stickered. All right. And now, thanks everyone for tuning in, and thanks again to Paul for being my guest of honor tonight. Thank you to everyone that jumped in with me. There's going to be a long list of people that I'll be posting on Twitter in a little bit once I figure out how to spell again after these beers. And until next time, guys, like I always say at the end of these things, like the late, great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called faith because it's not knowledge. And we'll see you guys next time.